The Spartan community mourning. 3 young lives lost, 5 others in the hospital tonight, honoring the victims as the search for answers continues. It is our top story today at 5. Good evening. I am Sheri Jones, and I'm reporting to you live at the campus of Michigan State University near the auditorium on the banks of the Red Cedar, right near the Rock.
6 News anchor and Spartan alum Sheri Jones is at that vigil and joins us now live from campus. Sheri, what's it like out there right now?
Good evening, Siobhan. The banks of the Red Cedar right now are filled with thousands of people. It's absolutely silent here. They're here to pay the respects to those who have lost their lives, the 3 students on Monday night, and the 5 that are in the hospital right now fighting for their lives. It's a very powerful, moving scene here at Michigan State University. Spartan Strong is absolutely what these people are conveying here as they pay their respects. They all came in, flooded in, and took a knee, took a seat to be with each other and to pray. You know, this vigil tonight follows a walk from the Spartan statue on campus. I visited there today to lay a bouquet of flowers. There were people there as well. The Sparty statue is covered with flowers. Our Josh Sanchez was at the Sparty statue earlier today. That's where this walk began. Tell us what you saw there today, Josh. Hello, I'm Sheri Jones, and I'd like to thank you for joining us for one of my favorite specials of the year. It's time we devote to telling the stories of the remarkable women who, through their words and deeds, make Mid-Michigan a better place to be. Hello, I'm Sheri Jones. 6 years ago, Wlns TV took an in-depth look at the problem of heroin and opioid abuse. It was a series we called A Community Crisis. Well, today, more than a half a decade later, we're back to take another look at the issue. Hello, Mr. Totten. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. You know, fighting gun violence is happening at all levels of government, and we really know what's happening here locally, but why don't we tell our viewers what's happening at the federal level? Mr. Harper, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Why do you want to be Michigan's next senator?
You know, I want to be the next U.S. senator from Michigan because I want to represent people who, in many ways, feel not represented in Washington and feel like they've checked out of the democratic process.
Yes, Siobhan, definitely. To be a part of this elite unit, it requires specialized training and the ability to adapt and respond to high-stakes situations just at a moment's notice. And on LPD's website, it says when the citizens of Lansing need help, they call police. But when police need help, they call START. This team made up of tactical officers, negotiators, K-9 officers, drone and robot operators, dispatchers, and medical personnel all work together to complete their mission as safely as possible.
The team camaraderie is huge. They receive a ton of extra training. You know, it is a hard mission set, but we still go out and do that every single day when we're called upon.
And that commitment to START's mission is something Commander Sergeant Kevin Schlegel sees in all of his team members. They're ready at a moment's notice to save the lives of people caught up in the most dangerous situations Lansing has to offer. Well, as you just heard our chief meteorologist David Young say, destructive winds, rain, and even a reported tornado battered mid-Michigan tonight, leaving behind major storm damage and massive power outages. The weather is our top story tonight at 11. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sheri Jones. Well, Director Brian Love and, of course, Deputy Director Robert Neer, thank you so much for joining us today. We have a big weekend coming up, and we're going to start with you because I know, Director, you're very new to this job. You've only been on for a couple of weeks now, but congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And so, taking this role, what is your expectation? What do you hope to accomplish?
So let's check back in with our Sheri Jones joining us live at DeWitt High School tonight, ringing the bell to raise money to help those who are struggling this year. How's it going, Sheri?
It's going great, Siobhan. In fact, what's so wonderful about this campaign for the Salvation Army is that anybody can give. And this is my friend Nina. You're 7 years old, and why do you want to give today?
To be helpful.
To be helpful. That is wonderful. So go ahead and put your donation in the red kettle, and we encourage a lot of people to do that. Thank you so much. You know, spreading hope in our community is what the Salvation Army does. Right now, we're 47% of the goal, and I'm joined by Major Johnson. We have had a great time out here today. So many people, very generous. What does the money go toward to help those less fortunate? Thank you for joining us. I'm Sheri Jones, and we're grateful that you've tuned in tonight for our special report. There's so much happening in the world right now. Debates about politics, identity, and race, pocketbook pressure from inflation and the economy, mass shootings like the one at Michigan State, and the stresses and strains of everyday life. America's mental health has never been so low, and the need for help has never been so high. So tonight, we're going to dive deep into the issue and talk not just about the problems, but offer some solutions as well. From how to take care of yourself or how to find help, we want to give you some hope. Besides our stories, we have phone numbers and websites across the bottom of your screen, resources you can take advantage of if you, a friend, or a family member need help. But we're going to start with one of the most important pieces of advice that we can give: the need to recognize what's happening and the willingness to do something about it. Last week, I talked with a client of Child and Family Charities about how she was finally able to open up and share her struggles with a therapist, something she says is changing her life for the better. Well, thanks for joining us on this Feel Good Friday holiday edition. I'm Sheri Jones. Siobhan has the night off. Santa and local first responders worked to spread holiday cheer to patients young and old at Sparrow Hospital yesterday. Dozens of police, fire, and ambulance vehicles paraded around the hospital with their lights shining brightly. We continue to see accidental deaths happen right here in mid-Michigan, and experts say those tragedies can be prevented with a relatively simple solution.
Keep the gun where she can't find it.
He thinks I don't know where it is.
She doesn't
I know.
Public service announcements like this one from Project Child Safe speak a clear message about gun safety. The Capitol Rundown starts now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sheri Jones. We had quite a week this week in Washington, one that only seems to happen once or twice a decade, when a Democrat is in the White House and Republicans are in charge of at least one half of Congress. And that's when Republicans try to squeeze the president to advance their agenda as the debt ceiling draws near. Well, it did happen again this year. Both sides reached a compromise, and Congress passed a plan to avert a default with only days to spare. We kick off our coverage with Washington correspondent Natalie Brand.
Since 11 o'clock this morning, we've been handing out free gun locks outside of our station here in Lansing, and that's where we find our Sheri Jones. Sheri, you're outside now. How's it going out there, Sheri?
Kira, it has been a very successful morning for us so far. We've given away more than 25 gun locks here right in front of the Wlns TV6 studios. We're just encouraging people to drive through, and we will hand you instructions and a cable lock for your gun. Captain Andy Dancer from the Ingham County Sheriff's Office has been with Jorma Duran and I all morning long, and thank you very much for your support in this endeavor. Tell us why it's important for people at home to lock their weapons either at home or in their car, in their barns.
Well, thank you for having us here. We really enjoy being here. Obviously, safety is our #1 priority here, and we just want folks to be safe with the weapons they have at home, store them in a safe location out of the reach. But this is just one added layer of protection to have these gun locks with them and available to secure their weapon with.
Welcome back. Earlier in this newscast, we took you to Jackson for a 16th annual Day of Giving, and we have also been collecting food and cash donations here in Lansing at our TV6 studios, and that's where we find our Sheri Jones. What are you seeing tonight, Sheri?
Well, Siobhan, it has been very successful out here in front of the TV6 studios. I was thrilled, as I know you were too, to hear how great things went in Jackson with Kyle Making talking about the South Michigan Food Bank. And we here are celebrating all the events that people have helped us with. We've filled 5 boxes of food. We've taken, you can see the bags are sticking up off the top, and we've been able to receive many non-perishable donations like we have here, from stuffing to cereal to rice and now the ever popular mac and cheese. Earlier today we had someone drive up and drop off a $1,000 donation, and Brady Broderick from the Greater Lansing Food Bank, how many families will that feed?
Yeah, so that $1,000 donation alone is going to create 3,000 meals for Mid-Michigan.